Hi everyone, welcome back to the 10-minute sprint. I'm Greydy Diaz.
And I'm Boz Rozendaal, aka the Mountain. Greydy, it was a long day today, made even longer by a bit of a rain delay, but it was exciting. I can go on and on about all the things that happened, but I want to know, what are your highlights of the day?
So some of my highlights were the folks that showed up. Tony Parker, KD, LeBron, Pau Gasol, Leonie Fibic, and Derek White. When we spoke with Hailey Van Lith after her win against Spain, did you know what she had to say, boss?
Let me know.
Well, let's hear it from her.
They're trying to learn 3-on-3 from us, so most they're asking us about the game. But no, yeah, they definitely have shared some good advice on what it means to wear the USA on your chest.
I love that. You know, all these players learning the rules of FIBA 3x3.
Love it. Next to the court. Look, my highlights for today, and I'm going to get a little nerdy here, but I like the morning games when the sun was hitting the court from a different angle. You could see the sun was coming from behind the player, so there were a lot of shots that were falling down because of the other angle of the sun. Then I want to give a shout out. Elisa Mevius, youngest player out there in the tournament in 3x3, and her Germany picked up 2 wins because of her play, so that was awesome. Some bad news though, we had some injuries. Jimmer Fredette couldn't play because of a groin injury, and on the Dutch squad, my guy Worthy de Jong also dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. He got on the court, but didn't, couldn't fully extend himself to the way we were used to from him. So I don't know. It's an effect on the men's side for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully they can come back because their teams really need them, because playing with just 3 players is really hard.
That's the hardest thing to do in all of 3x3. You get so tired, trust me.
So boss, we have another jam-packed show today with 3 good guests, a little tactics, and our player of the day picks. We also had our daily free throw contest.
Now, let's not bring that up. Let's not bring that up. All right, guess we're doing this. This is starting to feel like Groundhog Day, because every day, me and Greydy competing in a little free throw contest, which I have lost for the 3rd time in a row. I got it to overtime this time, but mid-range mommy went 3 for 3 in overtime. I missed my first shot. So as agreed, Greydy gets to choose 3 words that I need to sneak into our 2-minute summary of the games. What do you have for me today, Greydy?
So your 3 words today are crown, café as in coffee,
okay,
and craving.
All right, I got you. Let's get to the game summary though. There were so many good games today that we couldn't possibly go through all of them. 16 games total, right? So we will just focus on the last 8 games. But before that, I want to give some love to the 2 teams who only played both of their games in the early session. Greydy, you take the Australian women, I'll take my Dutchies.
All right, so the Australia women went 2-0 today. In their first game against China, my girl Alex Wilson hit the game-winning 2 yet again. She finished with 11 points and added 8 in their second win of the day against USA. Will it be enough for her to go back-to-back as my player of the day? I guess you'll have to wait and see for the second part of the show.
All right, so let me get the first word in here. If you were craving for some good 3x3, you sure have checked out the Dutch play the Serbians. It was a close game. The Netherlands tied it up at 19, but with 4 seconds to go, it was Doc Strange getting the ball at the top of the key. He stepped sideways and threw up a prayer. A miracle shot went down for the Serbs. They picked up a victory. The Dutch lost, but they turned things around against France. Dimes led the way with 8 points in this one, and he brought more floaties than a kid's swimming pool. You like that, huh? All right. Worthy's ankle injury clearly bothered him, but it was Dimes picking up the slack, fortunately enough. So that was good. So let me think on my other words here. How about you get the rest of the afternoon game, so the evening session, started for us?
Absolutely. So China turned things around in their second game of the day. They beat Spain 14-11. Our girl Lily Wang led with 5 points for Spain. Juana Camillion had a big game with 7 points.
All right, so the next game on deck was Germany and Azerbaijan, a tight one. You can see here, score 12-8. Germany's defense, tighter than a medium shirt out there. They were balanced on offense. Their defense was so good. They kept Tiffany Hayes down in points, and it looked like she didn't get her café in.
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Yes,
good job. And in our next game, USA fell to Lithuania 20-18. Pukelis had a big game with 7 points and 9 rebounds. Without Jimmer playing, Maddox and Canyon stepped up big, combining for 14 points.
And did I see the king wear his crown at that game?
Good job.
I owned this game. There you go. All right, Now that that's in the bag, let's go to the next one. It was Poland-China. Poland recovered from a loss against Lithuania with a victory over the Chinese. Zebo was hitting shots like it was happy hour at the bar. And Poland withstood a big game from Zhang to get the victory 22-17 in this one.
And then next up, USA women finally got their first dub. Can we clap it up for them real quick?
I like that.
They beat Spain 17-11. Van Lith and Howard each added 5 points, while Jimeno finished with a team-high 5 points for her team.
All right, the next game on deck, Canada and France. It was our game of the day before this day. We picked this one, and it did not disappoint. Some games are just a battle of wills. Not a lot of offense in this one, a lot of defense. It was an and one by Paige Crozone that sealed the deal in the last minute. Canada took this one 13-9.
And in our next game, after a rain delay, which we were a little worried about, Serbia men were able to pull out a 19-16 win against France. The Maestro went to work with 9 points and 4 rebounds for France. Segela finished with 7 points.
And then our last game of the day, the USA raced out to a big lead. They tried to make it a shootout at high noon, you know, make that high midnight in this case, because it was a late game. At the Concord, no Jimmer, but it was Dylan Travis hitting a lot of shots from the outside. But look, they were up 19-15, USA that is, and then Latvia came back. They tied the game at 19. USA ran out of gas. Latvia pick up their 4th win here, 21-19. Wow. Let's get to the results graphics, though.
All right, so a good day in the office for Australia and Germany in the women category, Serbia, Latvia, and Lithuania for the men, who are the 5 teams who were undefeated today.
Only 6 games were over before the limit today. Latvia, though, I want to give them a shout out. They won the fastest game in the tournament so far. Against China, they reached the 21-point mark, which ends the game. They shot over 50% from outside the arc, missed just 1 shot from close range, and they won with more than 3 minutes left on the game clock. That is just wild.
Yeah, and that game was one of the many blowouts today. In fact, 4 games were decided by just 1 basket, and none of them went into overtime today.
So I got to ask, Grady, we had 16 games today, a lot of them, right? What was your favorite one?
Ooh, that's hard because there were many of them. But I would say Germany handing Canada their first loss this morning in the second game of the day, actually. Greydy and Mavis combined for 15 points. They've been really fun to watch. The way Germany is playing right now shows great promise, and I think they were the most underrated team coming into this Olympics.
Yeah, you're right, especially with all the injuries they had. Look, let's get to our expert prediction ranking. We would usually show you the schedule and then our headshots next to them. That graphic would pop up right around now. But with 16 games, and considering how much Vince's head grew after his comeback yesterday, we couldn't fit everything on one page. So check out our Instagram for that one. It's at FIBA3x3. We'll put up a graph. Let's get to the rankings. And no, you know what? Let's skip the rankings. I think we're good without those.
Are you sure? Why are you in such a rush?
No, we're good without this session.
No, let's take a moment to celebrate my first place, tied with Vince. Congrats on your 5th position.
Yeah, my day wasn't so great. Now I'm at 14 points total. You and Vince are at 20. You know what? Let's move on. We'll get to the games that I'm winning. Pool standings up next. And let me take the women's. Since Canada and Spain have lost today and the USA have won their first games, it means we no longer have any undefeated teams and no more squads looking for their first dub. It will only make tomorrow even more exciting. You can see here the tiebreakers are in effect, so games played against each other first, then scores, and then federation ranking. If you want to check out more of that, check out our website, FIBA3x3.com.
And in the men's category, Latvia actually remains the only team with a perfect record. If the pool phase stopped today, both Latvia and Serbia would qualify directly to the semifinals. At the bottom of the standings, China and USA have just 1 and 0 wins respectively, and would both go home actually if the pool phase ended today. Can you believe that?
That's rough.
That's rough, right?
All right.
So today, our pick for Team of the Day goes to the only squad that remains undefeated in the men's category, the reigning Olympic champions, Latvia. So we had to call one of the Tokyo gold medalists and flag bearer for his country, Agnes Chavars. Agnes, first of all, happy belated birthday, and how are you?
Thank you guys. I'm good. I'm not in jail, but I'm outside of my apartment in Paris, so everything fine.
Agnes, good to see you, man. I gotta ask. Look, we all know about Batman Robin, Carlos Las Manos, Norris Mies. They were so good today. But what's really picked my attention here, especially in the first 4 games for Latvia, is Zigmars Raimo. He is so physical, so athletic. He's kind of like the new addition to the team. He's been around for the last, I'd say year or so. Can you talk about what he brings to this squad and his impact on the team?
Yeah, he's a great hustler. I like that, and he's like underrated defender. He plays so good in defense. I like his play, and he picks a lot of pockets for the small guys because no one thinks that he's so quick. I love his game, so that's why he's in the squad.
And my next question for you is, how mad were you to see Latvia trailing against a U.S. team that didn't have a sub because Jimmer was out?
I was very mad, but I think the delay took a hit on our team. But I hope this will give us a good lesson in next games that we have to keep focusing from the first minute. After that, they were gas out, and we were like hitting our shots. And at the end, we just were so lucky. I thank God that we got this win.
Well, I mean, also thank Norris Mies because he had an incredible game, I think. Agnes, you're in Paris, right?
Yes.
All right, so let me know, because I know you guys are so tight. You're like a family. Are you still in contact with the team a lot? Can you describe your role with the team for us now, just hanging out with the guys?
At the moment, no, but tomorrow we have early game, and then it's day off. Then we go all together to practices, and basically me, Krumic, and we have GM in our apartment. We cannot stay in the village with the players, but we are like help desk to them, handling all the situations. If they need some clothes washed or some tickets moved to the wife or family members, so like we call us help desk. If you need any help, just call us.
Well, the help desk has been working so far. Agnes, I want to thank you for hopping on. Thanks, my guy. Good seeing you.
Okay, bye, guys.
All right, so are we worried about France?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, they were supposed to be the favorite out here in Paris at the Olympics, and they have had unbelievable support. But look, we can talk about this, but you know we like to bring in a guest. So to help us out with that, I want to bring on somebody that we've seen before. It's Angelo Tsagarakis. You know, we talked about him. He's won a bronze medal in the same tournament that I won silver in. But Angelo, I don't want to put that to you too much. How are you doing, Angelo?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm in Voiron right now in France. My voice is gone. I've had a long summer, and my coaching is pretty much over now. So I'm gonna have a little bit of time to spend with my family. But I haven't missed any action of 3x3. Anything I could squeeze. I have the Eurosport and Max application going on blast. And obviously I've watched all of the Team France games, men and women. And I've caught up with much of the action. Actually, I've seen 75% of the game, so I'm pretty thrilled about what I've seen so far. But if you want to talk about Team France, I have quite a lot of things to say about that.
All right, so France is now 1-3. Do we have reasons to be worried right now?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned to you guys the first time when on the first episode that for me they were not the favorites in this competition. I think that it's interesting for me to break down the whole situation because I have multiple positions in my heart. I have the position of an expert of the game. I have the position of a friend of the players. I have the position of a coach now and the position of an ex-player. So I have many different things that go in my mind when I go into analyzing this situation. So as a friend, I'm rooting for them. I want them to win. And I hope that they're going to be able to do it. As an analyst of the game, I was very worried about the way this team was built and the roster that was picked to go to the Olympics. with the way the game has evolved, what really worried me is the fact that we went back to such a level of competition with the same team that won the gold at the World Cup a few years ago. But the game of 3x3 in the women's in the women's side has evolved tremendously in the past few years, and you've had a whole lot of teams that built themselves up towards the Olympics, and I think that we lacked adjustment on the French side into preparing or building the roster. You're thinking about Team Canada, Australia, the US, China. These are big rosters. They have length, they have size, they have strength in the paint. And I think that as a coach now, you're thinking about your philosophy. You're going to live and die with what you believe in. And right now, France is a little bit dying with what they're believing in. They wanted to go with speed. And I think their defensive effort was heroic against Canada. They put an amazing pressure on defense. But the problem is, anytime that pressure broke down or there was any kind of miscommunication, they paid the price for it with the mismatch in the paint. And the thing is, Germany has that kind of mismatch to propose. Australia has that kind of mismatch to propose. And the US clearly has that kind of mismatch to propose. So should we be worried? I want to say, and excuse my French, hell yeah, we should be worried.
Yeah, maybe so. I think the cat's out of the bag on their athleticism just a little bit, right, and their speed. But look, we had some audio from the mix zone. Let's listen in.
We struggle in offense, we struggle attacking them, but we learn from this loss and tomorrow we have two big games.
All right, so we just heard from Hortense Limousin. Angelo, can you give me 3 words on what you think went wrong against this Team Canada?
So, 2 words in one: outside shooting, and communication defensively. And the third, so shooting, defense, and well,
Trying to fit in a
it's
6th
tough
word.
to find 3. Well, sometimes, you know, like if there's like a dash, or I don't know how you call that in English.
Oh, yeah, you could put 2 words in one for sure. I like that.
Right. Well, I'll just stick to those 2 because I think these are the biggest. And okay, size.
All
That's
right.
the 3rd one, size.
Yeah, and you mentioned.
So, yeah. Tell me.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned communication, and that made me think of chemistry. This team has played together for so many years. How confident should we be that they can bounce back from this?
I mean, you should be very confident. My choice as a coach in the way I would build a team has nothing to do with their chances of winning with the philosophy that the coaching staff in place has. Obviously, you're not a world champion if you're not capable of winning big games. They have talent. The main thing is they haven't been able to put themselves in a position where they can maximize that talent. They need to free up Marie-Ève. Hortense Limousin can't be scared of shooting that thing. She needs to be able to be more aggressive because we know that she's going to go and harass the driving lanes, and she's going to get close to the cup and put a whole lot of pressure on the bigger girls. But the problem is, if you're going to be hurting in the paint defensively, you're going to have to hit back from the outside. And so far, Laetitia Guapo has not shot the ball. We know that Jekundade is not a great shooter. She can hit some, but that's not her main strength. So Marie-Ève is the key for them to potentially bounce back. So if you're gonna live and die with your strengths, then obviously you need to stay confident in your ability to do so. And I'm confident that obviously the friend in me is confident that they're gonna be able to do it, and I hope that they will. But I am worried.
Absolutely, and I think no matter what, it's going to be a learning experience. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you.
All right, it's time to talk about Player of the Day. As always, let's start on the women's end. You want to go first?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Ryan Howard. She has showed up. I know the past few days have been a little rough for her, and we know she's a pro. So I was really impressed with her today. Her first game, she had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 highlights, and a p-val of 10.1. And in her second game, 5 points, 4 rebounds, and the highest p-val on of both teams that played, and they got the dub.
I like that pick, especially because she's on my fantasy squad, so that player value is mine. Anyways, I'll take a player who doesn't just have one win. I'll take a player who has 2 wins and had a huge impact on the team. Elisa Mevius, I talked about her at the start of the show. I think her play has transformed the German team into a little bit more of an offensive team instead of a defensive team. 7 points in a win, a huge win over Canada. She was very efficient from the floor, and then in a very low-scoring affair against Azerbaijan, she picked up 3 points and 4 rebounds. It's her shot creating ability, and also the fact, and that's why I kind of want to give it to her as well. She's the youngest player out here. I mean, she had to fill in at the last moment to get here and be on the squad. That's something you got to give a shout out to. So Elisa Mevius for me. Let's move on over to the men's. What do you want to do? Start again or no?
You got it.
Okay, I got it. There were so many players I could have given this to. I mean, Dr. Strange, Norris Miezes, for instance, but I want to give a shout out to my fellow big guy, Aurelius Bukelis. 7 points in a win against Poland, and then he followed that up with 7 points, 9 rebounds in a huge, huge win over Team USA. He was big for Lithuania. They picked up 2 wins, so I'll give it to Aurelius. Who do you got?
I'm going with Dimes.
Oh.
You're Dutchman, right?
Oh.
He really stepped up big with Worthy being out. The Netherlands beat France today. They lost to Serbia. In his first game, he had a high P-val. He had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 highlights. Second game, he had a P-val of 10.9, which is really impressive. So I've been really happy with how he played today, and I think it really was a differentiator for his team.
No, for sure. I'm going to get in trouble for not picking Dimes here. Look, we want to know what you guys think, so let us know on socials who you think your player of the day was. Pick mine, don't pick Grady's. There we go. Let's get to the top scorers of the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. We want to start you off on the women's end, and if we look at the graph here, it's your girl, Allie Wilson, on top of the scoring charts. 33 big ones for her, 19 points on the day, which was huge. Australia picked up 2 wins. Tiffany Hayes actually had a slow day. Only 7 points. She got her total up to 28, and there's a second Australian in third in Marina Whittle. Now let's go to the men's.
Yeah, on the men's side, Zhang of China, he's up right now with 33 points. He's shooting 42% from beyond the arc, which is super impressive. Pukelis at 2 with total of 29 points. Robin and Batman of Latvia are back-to-back with 3 and 4 points. 3 and 4 with 28 points each. And Barry is at number 5 with 27 points.
Yeah, Barry had himself a day of games. Look, they didn't win, but he played well. Look, let's get to the next most important thing out here. You probably already heard me say that this is the second most important event of the entire Olympics, next to the 3x3 games at the Concorde, of course. Last week, FIBA, we gathered with 5 experts to have an expert fantasy draft on the players in the tournament here. We all picked 4 players, 2 men, 2 women, and we judged them by player value, an additive stat of all the important stats in 3x3. I initially thought I was having a bad day. You jumped ahead of me at the start of the day there. I like that. But Norris Miezes came to my rescue, a 20.5 player value. That is just wild, ridiculous, to help me sit on the fantasy throne. You can see here, I'm in first, 123.8 points total. Look, I'll give you your second place. Just give me that crown right now. I mean, that's all right.
I'm not even mad at it. I had a pretty good day as well.
Look, and I want to give a shout out to Vince Chang. You can see him in last. He picked Jimmer Fredette, who couldn't play today. But Vince, a wise man once said to me, and let me read this: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step." And this might have just been your first step. We'll see. Look, let's get to Paris.
So every day we will call a member of our team who will bring us behind the scenes in Paris. And today with us, we have one of the best professional dunkers in the world, Joel Henry, AKA the Royal Guard from the UK. Joel, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Joel, look, you are athletic with a capital A. We know that. You can jump over 1 guy. You can jump over 2 guys. Can you jump over me? Have you tried?
I think I jumped over you.
I think you jumped over me as well. And for the people at home that don't see this, I'm 7 foot tall. This man can jump. Look, let me get your opinion, because you were at the games today, right?
That's right.
All right, let me get your opinion on the most athletic players in my book in all of 3x3, and 2 of them specifically. Dr. Strange, Hypeworthy. How would they do at a dunk contest?
I mean, you know, respect to the guys, you know, because they are very athletic. but you know, when it comes to being a professional dunker and being a professional player and mixing the two, I mean, it's a tough job, man. You know, not everyone can throw the ball up and jump over a 7-foot player as yourself, but I would say they're pretty good. But that's why we do what we do, and that's why they do what they do.
Professionals, I like it.
And we need the scoop. We know that you're in Paris, and for the fans who aren't and who can't be right now, can you give us the scoop on the vibe, the atmosphere, and how you're feeling while you're there?
Well, as you can see, it's the evening and it's over, and I still got my FIBA top on. It's like a festival. Like it was so hard for me to even get in the venue because of the queues was so long. The atmosphere, everyone's engaged, and not only engaged for their own country, but just for the game itself. And that's something that I just love to see, because, you know, we're all part of the culture of being, you know, athletes and, you know, being around, but, you know, there's a basketball culture and everyone's just so in love with it. You can see people's all crying, singing the anthem and stuff like that. I was just like, yo, I'm trying to learn this French anthem just to join in. Like, it's really good.
I like that so much. Look, I got the most important question of them all for you, right? Will we ever see an Olympic dunk contest?
I think, listen, if I show you my DMs, I think that everyone in the world wants to see us in a dunk contest. And hopefully we can see that soon, you know. I will always be ready, even if it's 10, 20 years to come. I will be ready at the other end of the phone. But hopefully we can, you know, have women dunking soon as well, you know, so we can, you know, kind of raise the bar with everything and just build the culture itself. So fingers crossed.
Look, I have no doubts that when they have that, you'll be there. Joel, thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. I'll see you around the court soon, yeah?
Appreciate you.
All right, Grady, it is time for our favorite part of the show, the play of the day.
It's definitely your favorite part of the show.
Yes.
Look, I've played basketball all of my life. I know my X's and O's, but I'm watching these games and I notice plays I've never seen on a full court. This is definitely not your one-on-one street ball. Today, Boss has put on his glasses to dissect a set play from Team Germany women.
Tactics today, we take a look at Team Germany. They have a wide setup they use a lot with 2 players in the corners, 1 up top. They use this to get a lot of movement and a lot of screening action. Take a look. This play starts with Marie Reichert, one of the taller players for Germany up top. Luana Rodefeld, get well soon, in the corner, both with a defender with them. And then Svenja Brunkhorst set in the other corner. A very wide setup. We'll see Reichert get a handoff going with Rodefeld going this way. So the ball will go with Rodefeld all the way to the other side of the court, where Brunkhorst will come up, pick it up, and right after she receives the pass, Reichert now will set a screen. On that screen, the defenders will switch. So the taller defender that was with Reichert at the start now will switch onto Brunkhorst, who has an option for a shot here. In this case, the ball goes into Reichert against a shorter defender underneath the basket for an easy score. This play works so well for the Germans because they like to play out of movement. They like to get some separation from their defenders so they can get switches and mismatches like we saw with Reichert underneath the basket at the OQT in Debrecen.
Boss, you're really good at this. Thank you for making it so digestible. Did you actually see that play used at all today by Germany?
Not as a set play so much, but I saw them go to a wider set in transition, plenty of time to get Greinacher some looks, maybe some looks. So I have seen some of it, not per se the set play though. I was expecting that, but you know, we've seen it for sure.
All right, and now moving on to our fan question. You know, we love to interact with all of you on this show. And today we got some really good questions. Here's our pick for today coming in from Hazel on IG. How does the pool play work? How many games does USA need to win to make gold?
Well, Hazel, I have some bad news. I think they need to win all of them. Look, pool play works like this. There's 8 teams to a pool. You know, you'll play all 7 other teams in games. At the end of all of that, your bottom 2 teams drop out of the competition. Goodbye. They'll be cool in the pool in the Olympic Village. Your top 2 teams will move right on to the semifinals. Anybody in between 3, 4, 5, and 6 will play a play-in game. The winners of those will also get to the semifinals. So I'm hoping, for Hazel that is, that Team USA wins all their games, because right now the men are in dead last. The women, I think, are a little up from that, but they need some wins for sure to be able to make that play-in. All right, well, thank you everyone for all of your questions. We appreciate you so, so much. We count on you to send some in the chat here or tomorrow on Instagram, because yes, it is time. We are already going to tomorrow's games.
All right, so our day 4 game schedule. Can France or Serbia finally stop Latvia in Paris? It will be one of many things to watch tomorrow, but time goes quickly. At the end of tomorrow, there will be just one pool game left for both the men and the women.
And I think we will definitely know who's most likely to win our expert predictor game. Make sure you check our socials to know all of our predictions.
And now to our day 4 game of the day.
Yes.
There was plenty to choose from, of course, for game of the day tomorrow. Boss, we could have gone with the rematch of last year's World Cup final between USA and France women or USA-Canada women, but we chose an absolute heavyweight match between Latvia and Serbia. How excited are you for that one?
That game is going to be so, so incredible. I can already tell these two teams have dominated 3x3 for the last 7 years. I was still playing for my country at the 2017 Europe Cup in Amsterdam, my hometown, where this Latvian team kind of first showed up. Everybody in 3x3 remembers that Las Manas shot at the end to beat Serbia in the semifinals. If you look at the head-to-head, Serbia actually has won 8 of the 10 games they played against Latvia. And you want to hear something crazy, Grady? Since 2022, Serbia has eliminated Latvia every year at the World Cup and the Europe Cup. Will Latvia end the 5-game losing streak tomorrow?
I guess we'll see. So these are my top 5 things to watch for on day 4. 16 more games. Second, we will see our first eliminated teams tomorrow. Third, USA women are playing France, which was the World Cup final matchup last year. Fourth, Serbia versus Latvia men's game is going to be a really good one. And fifth, will Jimmer play?
Big question.
That's the biggest question.
Yes.
All right, boss. Good job today. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, don't be shy. Please drop a like, a comment, subscribe, give us a shout on social media. This was the 10-minute sprint, episode 5. We'll see you tomorrow after the games.
Bye-bye.
Bye.